Hard. Okay, so today we are going to be running through search engine optimization, what that means, how it affects your blog, and how you can do it correctly to ensure that hopefully the end goal, the end result is that Google can rank your posts, and eventually the idea is that we can get our posts to the top of Google or certainly on the first page, and that is possible. It's very much about how clever we are when it comes to use of keyword. So I'm going to share my screen just to run through a few things with you. So in the shared file on Dropbox, there is something that I did a while ago called Beginner's Guide to SEO. So I've just updated that. If you haven't seen it already, this is a really great resource. It's a couple of pages long. And what I'll do when I've recorded this, I'll add the link to this particular sheet as well, so that it's all there in case you need to refer back to it. So Beginner's Guide to SEO. So these are just some training notes. So I just want to show you this. I've just pulled this off our website, off analytics, just to show you how our website is currently working and where the traffic is coming from. So you can see here that our website heavily relies on organic social, which essentially is everything that we're doing on social media that doesn't involve spending any money. So all of that great stuff we're doing when we're pushing our blog posts out there on our Instagram, on our Facebook and anywhere else socially, that is where that traffic is coming from. So that is hugely important to what we're doing. But equally, we can't just rely on that because actually that takes the most time, doesn't it? It's the organic, it's getting people to come up to your posts via our social media channels that takes a lot of work. So what we want to do is we really want to increase this organic search here, which is number 4. Direct is traffic that's basically probably come from a link or a link back or from some other website. Sorry, no, that's wrong. Sorry. Referral is from a link or some other website. And direct is somebody just coming directly into the website, maybe from hearing us or whatever, but they've essentially typed in girlabouttravel.co.uk. And then referral is, so it could be link backs, it could be some other website that's recommending us, etc. And then the organic search is what's coming through our SEO strategy. So that's all to do with people finding us on Google when they search for something. And then unassigned could be anything from our newsletter to any other small campaigns that we're running. So essentially what we really need to do and what we're working on right now in the background is getting this to increase. And there's 2 ways of doing that. There's on-page SEO and there's on-post SEO. So I'm working in the background on our on-page SEO. So when I say on-page SEO, I'm talking about the pages on our website, not the actual posts. So the page could be the About Us page, it could be the regional landing pages, it could be the home pages. All of these are our pages within the website, and that SEO is really, really important in the background. And then there's the on-post SEO, which essentially gets your posts ranked higher. So the page is about getting the whole website to the top, and the post SEO is about getting your specific posts up to the top of Google and put in front of people. So again, I think probably just mentioned this. SEO is important because it helps rank our website. It increases our DA, which is our domain authority. And if a brand is looking to work with you or to work with us, that information is quite easy to find. So a lot of this is transparent. So we can't hide it. We can't pretend. We've got to be honest about where we are and how good our website is. It costs a lot less time and it costs a lot less money to reach people through organic search. And also it gives us credibility. If our website or your posts are popping up on the first pages of Google, if a restaurant is Googling themselves and your post pops up, then brilliant. That is, that means that we have authority. We are doing really, really well, and we have great credibility. And it gives you credibility as well. It means that, again, if brands are looking and your posts pop up at the top of Google, then they know that we know what SEO is. We know how to optimize. We know what we're doing. We're not just blogging, but we are blogging. Jane, sorry, can you just stop? I'm trying to do a training. Sorry. They know that we are credible. We know what we're doing, etc. Hi, Katie. I see you just jumped in. I'm just running through the importance of SEO. So I've not actually jumped into how to do it yet, but hope you're well and welcome. So helps to rank our website, increases our domain authority, costs us less to reach people, gives us credibility, and gives you credibility are the reasons why we need an SEO strategy in our website. So a keyword, what is a keyword? Because this can be quite confusing. If you're new to writing content for websites, then the keyword sort of suggests it is just one word, which is completely false. It isn't just one word. A keyword can be multiple words, or it can be one word. And depending on us as a brand and who we're competing with and what our objectives are, depends on whether we use one word keyword, which is called a short tail keyword, or a long tail keyword, which could be a number of words that are strung together to create what we call a long tail keyword. There are some links to some resources on this particular document, which is again in the shared workspace on Google, a beginner's guide to SEO training notes. So do have a little look at them, and they're good resources. I'm now gonna show you how to use the tool that we are paying to have access to, which is called KeySearch. So there are three things that we need to consider when we are making our documents, our posts, search friendly, and that is selecting and finding and selecting our keyword, analyzing our keyword, writing our post, and then showing that keyword's in the post, and then optimizing the post to ensure that the keywords are used correctly, not just in the content, not just in the writing, but in the images and everywhere else. So, and as I said, there's a couple of bits of software that we use. One is KeySearch. So we pay for KeySearch, which gives everybody access. The KeySearch login details are in this document. You can see here, my email, and then girl about pass 123, so you can get straight in. It's an incredibly powerful tool. It's brilliant, and it's really going to help you sort of understand how this all works. So I've already logged in. So when you log in, keysearch.co, it brings you directly to this this page here. You can see that I expect this is probably Sarah in Hampshire. Somebody has just, the last keyword that has been searched for is New Forest Festival. So that's a keyword, even though it's 3 words, it's a keyword. So what we want to do is we want to ensure that this is for the United Kingdom, because that is the audience that we're targeting. And then we want to basically think about, and it's the best thing to do before you even write your post, really, before you even start thinking about what you're going to write, is really select the keyword that you want to use, because that can really impact on what it is you're going to be writing about. So you can either go down the route of knowing what you want to write about and going and finding the keyword that's going to match up to it, or you can even use the keyword analysis to even think about, actually, I'm going to use this now and see where the sweet spots are, where I might be able to write something that actually has a keyword that potentially is really, really strong. And this piece of software will show you and tell you whether a keyword is worth using or absolutely worth avoiding. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that now. So I'm going to use my blog post as an example. So I am going to use my 48 hours in the Yorkshire Dales, which is my latest post. and for our quiz funnel. And you can see here that I have highlighted in yellow the keyword. So this is my keyword. I went in, I knew I was writing a blog post that was about Yorkshire and was about food. And my objective with this post isn't just to bring people in Yorkshire to Yorkshire, but to bring people across the UK into Yorkshire. But the focus is actually food. So it might not be that I need the word Yorkshire in there, because what I'm trying to do is get people that have an interest in food, or specifically luxury in this case. This is a foodie weekend break that I've written about, but it's incredibly expensive. And well, not incredibly, but it is expensive. It's staying in beautiful hotels and going to incredible Michelin star restaurants. So it is a luxury break. So somebody might not have actually thought about being a foodie, but I know that this is going to widen my net a little bit and potentially have, be able to, I can potentially put this piece of content in front of somebody that it might be relevant to. So I haven't used the word Yorkshire because the person that is thinking about this might not even thought about Yorkshire. They just want ideas for a break. If you're doing something really, really specific, then, that could be a different scenario. But again, there's no right or wrong here. It's about analysing your keywords, thinking about what you're writing about. It's about understanding how the person is going to use Google to find that piece of content. So it's always about what are you typing into Google? Think about what you're typing into Google, because that essentially is what we're trying to do here. We're trying to match up with that search. You're not going to type into Google luxury weekend break in Yorkshire for 3 people and a dog. You're not going to do it. You think, and think about the types of words that you are searching on, because a lot of the time you might abbreviate something, and then if you abbreviate it, how is that going to impact on your blog post? If you leave an and out where it's critical, or an in out where it's critical, that is going to affect the readability of your blog post as well. So there's a fine balance here between making sure your blog post reads well, making sure that it is potentially going to be found on Google, and making sure that if it is found on Google, it's going to be quite high up on Google, and it's going to be the right time of year as well. So Google to rank a post can take anywhere between a month and 6 to 8 months. It's not an instant thing. It's not like a story on Instagram or a post on Instagram. If I create an article now, it might not rank for until, I don't know, September, October, November. If I'm writing what to do in July, or what to do on the 1st of July in Canada, there's no point me trying to optimize that, because it's highly likely that content will be out of date before it's even ranked. We use the term evergreen, which means content that never goes out of date. And that is the content that you want to be really thinking about, really optimizing. Content that's got an end date. It could be, again, I don't know, Glastonbury Festival 2022, the highlights. There's no point. There's really no point in optimizing that too much. There's not any point. Yes, somebody could see it next year and use it as an inspirational piece. But if you're talking specifically about who's on stage that year, there's no point spending hours and hours trying to get your head into what keywords to use, because it's going to be out of date. If it is the 10 best festivals every year, then that is something you could optimize, assuming that those festivals are happening year on year. So think again about the longevity of your content. And if it is evergreen content, does it really need to be optimized up to the hill? Because if it doesn't, and it's breaking your back trying to find a keyword, or you just don't think it needs one, then don't give it don't do the research, don't do the analysis, just use a keyword that you think fits, and you never know, it still could rank anyway. So let's go back to KeySearch. So we basically start with our blog post in mind. We know what we're doing, we know what we want to write about. So how do we, what should that keyword be? I mean, there's some critical places that this keyword needs to sit, and that of course is in the title. So we need to think about what keyword we want in our title. So in my 48 hours in, again, you'll see I went with luxury UK weekend breaks as that keyword. And that's probably because I've probably gone in and done foodie weekends foodie weekend in Yorkshire. Let's see what comes up. I probably did start with this thinking that would be the first ideal one, but actually for whatever reason, I haven't chosen it because it's not strong enough or it just not ranking. So this particular piece of software is going to now analyze my keyword. So you can see here, there's no point using foodie weekend in Yorkshire because there's absolutely nobody searching for foodie weekend in Yorkshire on Google right now. Nobody's typing that in. This here is the score. You're going to get a score. If that is blue or green, then that means, yeah, hey, go ahead, use it. It's a good keyword. If it's moving into red, don't bother, because we're then up against major websites that are going to use that keyword and are going to inevitably get well ahead of us. So there's no point using it if it starts turning red. Now, red is usually late 30s. So anything, and again, I'll show you in a minute how my keyword stacks up. Anything sort of above 38, I wouldn't bother touching it. You can use it again if it's a piece of content that you're not too fussed about people finding in the future because it's not evergreen, but I wouldn't bother otherwise. So I'm not going to use foodie weekend in Yorkshire. There's absolutely no point. Nobody's searching on it. So a weekend in Yorkshire is being searched on. This is the volume. This is the number of people that are searching every single month on this particular keyword. So you want to be looking at, ideally, if you could get it in the low thousands under a score of 35 here, and that should be green. That is a really decent keyword. It's likely that it's probably going to be more in the hundreds. And again, going green here, 38. So let's have a look at what luxury weekend breaks is. And it's probably, I think I'm probably quite shocked, I think, if I remember, to think that this was even within my, come on. So there you go. So this one is a really strong keyword. It's got 1,600 people searching on that keyword every single month, and it's got a score of 34. It's green, and that's the key here. Green means go. If I come down here and scroll down to here, I can see which brands are using that keyword are on page 1 of Google. So we've got certainly brands that I know of: Secret Escapes, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Off-Peak Luxury, never heard of them. Country Hotel Breaks. If you've got Expedia up there, if you've got booking.com up there, if you've got Condé Nast Traveller up there, it's highly likely this score is going to be red. And it's like, and basically they're the types of businesses we can't compete with. Not yet, certainly. Maybe one day, who knows? If you've got some little blogs and little tour operators and various other little websites that you don't really know of, or you know are not particularly big, then that is what's making this score 34. It means that their domain authority is pretty low or similar to ours, and therefore we've got a much higher chance of being able to rank on that keyword. So that was the reason I chose that keyword. Does that make sense? Has anybody got any questions at this point?
If like you've put luxury UK weekend breaks, and then you've done your Yorkshire one, is it all right to use luxury UK weekend breaks, something in Dorset? So does it matter?
You know what, somebody was going to ask that question straight away. It's a really good question, Sarah. And you know what, I don't know, I've got no idea. I must Google that, because I'm just sat here thinking that particular, that keyword is relevant to us all, isn't it? Really, yeah. We can all use it. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a Google search on that on Google after this and give you your answer, because you're absolutely right. Is that going to cause some kind of internal clash? Yeah, I am not exactly 100% sure, but I will get back to you on that. I mean, that is a really strong keyword, and I was quite shocked that it sits where it does. So it would make sense if we could all use it, but again, I don't know how that would interfere. So I will get back to you. Any more questions so far on using KeySearch?
I've got another question, because it's a bit I always struggle with. So once you've got the keyword, which is there, you then obviously created your title to be much longer. I think I always get confused over that part, because I somehow feel like the whole thing's the keyword and it isn't. So it doesn't matter what your title is, as long as you've got the keyword in it.
Your title for your blog, and I'm going to move on to this in a minute, your title for your blog post, in order for it to be fully 100% optimized, and there are so many little tweaks, so many little tiny things that can be done that's going to knock that down a tiny bit. there are an ideal specific number of characters in the title of a blog post, which in the templates, I tell you, I think it's something like 60 digits, basically. If you can hit 60, that is the optimal number of digits in a post. But again, if you start to go over that, okay, you're going to impact ever so slightly on that, you know, on that optimization of that post. But it might be that you need those extra digits to make that make sense, or to, you know, so don't, again, it's, you've got to weigh it up a little bit. You know, you've got to think, okay, what's more important here? Is it that my title is going to draw people in, or is it that actually, you know, I don't need all these words in here, and I can do you know, it can be small. The shorter the better, really. But equally, you need to tell people what you're writing about. So the keyword is just something within that, most likely. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does.
Anybody else before I move on? Brilliant. Okay, so the keyword now needs to be incorporated into your post, and this is where it gets a little bit difficult, because depending on the keyword, it can be a pain in the ass trying to get it to fit in a way that reads really, really well. And sometimes, and I've you know, I'm guilty of doing it. I'll write something and the keyword, it's not exactly 100% perfect English, but I want to use that keyword because it's such a great keyword. And this piece of content is a piece of content that can be there forever. And, you know, I might miss the odd sort of, you know, sort of small 2-letter word out in order to be able to use that keyword. So now is the time to try and get that keyword in. I mean, a great way of putting a keyword in is kicking off the sentence with your keyword, adding it to a header, a title, and just going through and looking, okay, how can I just add that keyword in? And it doesn't need to be, I mean, and it is in here a lot more. It's just that one's, I think it's in here about 7 or 8 times. There was a time when the more that you got your keyword into your content, the better it was. But now Google started to recognize that people are just spamming pieces of content with keywords with no regards to how it actually reads. So it doesn't have to be in every single paragraph. It could just be in 4 or 5 paragraphs once, depending on how often you can get it in and how long it is. Now, it's worth noting that for SEO, again, the longer your content, the better it's going to do. It should be at least 1,200 words if you want it to rank on Google. So again, if you're writing a review of somewhere and it's only really, really short, 500 words, don't spend hours and hours trying to figure out what you want for a keyword, unless there's a great keyword there that's really, really nobody's using, and that you can use. I wouldn't fanny around and faff around too much trying to find a keyword for that particular piece. There are some other stuff you can do in KeySearch. So as well as plugging your keyword in and looking at, you know, what else is working, you can go into this content assistant. I think it's this one, and you can copy and paste your entire blog post into this. I think my bloody laptop's about to blow up. Come on, come on, come on, come on. So I can copy and paste that entire post into here. And it will give me some recommendations as well and tell me how well I'm doing for keywords as well. So again, the competition is fairly easy, although that's... Sorry, somebody else's keyword was in there. So it's now analysing this entire piece to see where I've put that keyword, and it's going to tell me other keywords that potentially are in there that could be used. So you can see here some of these must words here would help to make this particular keyword perform better. So it's saying, look, if you put any of these in, actually that would perform even better. Try not to get lost down this rabbit hole though, because it's very easy to start trying to get, I mean, I'm not going to get all of them in because half of these are not even relevant. It's telling me that, it's not telling me how relevant they are, it's telling me get them in there, and actually that might help, but they're not going to, you know, make my post specifically about Yorkshire in any way any better. But you can, if it's more specific, if it was luxury weekend foodie break in Yorkshire, it would probably give me some of the keyword ideas. And when that doesn't mean that I should go and replace my keyword. It's just saying, why don't you litter, or why don't you try ensuring that some of these are actually in here somewhere? So, you know, is the word weekend in there? It's blue. So yes, is this, look, exclusive? Can you get that word in here somewhere? Because that's a good word to use. Welcome, good word to use. Can you get that in here? So if you want to go down that rabbit hole, then you can use this content assistant, but it is that it can get a bit time consuming. It's telling me my word count's good. The average word count on a post like this is 625. It's telling me that I have got 16 of the must keywords in there, which is probably my impact on my post and how it ranks a little bit, unfortunately. But that's because I think I'm using quite a general keyword. So that's interesting. And again, yeah, it's telling me the score's 34, so it's an easy, moderate score. So that is how to use KeySearch. As I said, it's really super easy. So I found my keyword, I've decided what I want to use, and now how do I use WordPress, and how do I, once I've written my post and manage to incorporate that keyword into my post, I then need to take my post and I need to put it into WordPress. And there's some stuff that we can do in WordPress using our software in WordPress that's going to basically, a bit like KeySearch works, it's going to give us a traffic light system to show us how we're doing. So here's my Yorkshire foodie itinerary in the Yorkshire Dale. So you can see here, Sarah, in answer to your question, I have reduced that slightly. But I still want to keep that as my main keyword, my main title that incorporates the keyword here. So this is the keyword here. On the permalink, it's really important here. This is the link that basically shows up at the top of websites. This should be as short as possible, really, ideally, without losing the thrust of your post. So you can see here, I've edited this right down to luxury weekend breaks Yorkshire. I've taken any of the fluff out of it. I've taken the out of it, the in, the. It's just luxury weekend breaks Yorkshire. The shorter that, the better. So if I could get that down to 2 words without it conflicting somewhere else, because again, you've got to think, well, if I put /weekend breaks, I could be conflicting with somebody else. You still need to get some of the core intent into that. So I've gone with luxury UK weekend breaks Yorkshire. So I've just shortened it. You can see here, Yoast is a plugin which basically just again tells us how we're getting on with our optimizing our post. Please ignore readability, because we don't need to worry about that. All we need to worry about is this green here, is SEO over here on the right. And as you work through your post, I mean, if you've done it all in the templates and you bring it all in, you should be pretty near to green. And there's just a few little bits you need to do in WordPress itself to then optimize the entire post. So here we've already got some programming in the this is SEO programming that we've done in the background that automatically generates your title. So you can see that there is bringing up the title. So this is how it looks on mobile, on desktop. You've got your post, you've got your meta description there, which is here. So I've just added, this is the perfect destination for a gourmet weekend. It's already bringing in my SEO title here, you can see there. And then just adding a little bit more to try and get this up to green. So that's probably about 58 characters. Add a few more. See it's starting to go orange and then it'll go red. So that's telling me, whoa, 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 calm down, too many, take me back to green. And then I've added all my content with my search terms in. I've got it here in my title, you can see here. And there's various parts of a blog post where Google will look for that keyword. So titles, within, as I said, the actual title of the blog, within the naming of your images. You've got to make sure all your images have got alt tags on them. I'm going to show you that in a minute. This is so you can optimize your images. So if people are searching on your search term, then potentially your image could come up, which would link back to your blog post. So all of these things you're constantly getting more and more points for. So you can see I've added it in the title. It's, you know, it'll be in various other parts of this this post. So I've put all my content in, and now I want to make sure that my images are also optimized. So when I add my images, Rebecca, oh no, okay, I'm just about to shout at Rebecca then, it's mine. She's used the right size template. So when I add my images, she's not alt tagged them, so she's in trouble. Here is the alt tag. So this is where we should be adding the SEO, the keyword to our blogs. So let's find somebody that has. Here we go, Sarah in the New Forest. Well done, I don't think she's here, but anyway. So we know that she's used that as a keyword, because we saw it in KeySearch as the last KeySearch keyword searched on. So she's gone through and she's added not to them all, she's not. So what she really should have done really is gone through and added that same keyword to all. I think she's just done it to her feature one, all of her images. So here we go. Gemma in Yorkshire, top brownie points, all of her family friendly mountain bike rides. That's a long keyword. I think she's but anyway, they've all got an alt text, which is the keyword there. So that really is all. I say all, I know it looks quite, oh gosh, but it is, once you get your head around it, it really isn't that difficult at all. It's just really using the KeySearch. That's the main thing. Use KeySearch to ensure that you are analysing your keywords and using keywords that you know are going to potentially get you to the top of Google. Does anybody have any more questions?
What, the slug bit again? What do we have to put the slug in, don't we?
Well, the slug is already generated already, so you don't need to worry about that. You just need to make sure you can see here. Sometimes if you know when you go into something, not so much in the post because it's all been done for us, but you'll get some garble. It'll either pick up the first line of your content, or you'll just get some garble here. But for what you're doing, that's already been optimized. So you just need to so we can't really change it. We just need to make sure that if we can, that Google, it's green, and the more green we have, the better we do, the more likely it is to be green here. And as long as it's green here, you don't have to have 100% mark. It just needs to be green, which is about 80 to 85% optimized, meaning that, and you can see, if you click on here, for example, everything apart from my SEO title, it's telling me it's slightly long. Everything is optimized. I've done everything right that needs to be done on that post. So really, in principle, in a few months' time, that blog post should be on page 1 of Google. There's no reason why it shouldn't be, because I've done everything that needs to be done in order to make sure that it's fully optimized. Anybody else got any questions? No? Let me stop recording.